friend, it's Pat Sloan here, and welcome to those of you who are new joining me here from the Gratitude and Grace Tour. You're probably coming from one of the other friends who are doing this, and maybe you haven't visited my YouTube ever or in a while. So welcome, welcome, welcome in. And those of you coming back, I appreciate you so much. So the main thing today is the kickoff of the Gratitude and Grace Tour, which is my fabric line. I asked 7 friends to join me, just like that like Gilligan's Island song, right? You know, it's like they all took off for a 3-hour tour. Well, we're off here for a 4-day tour, and it's going to have a layer cake giveaway of Gratitude and Grace at each of the stops, and there might be other goodies as well. Each person might, you know, you got to go visit all my 7 friends because they might have a little something extra. You never know. Of course, it's going to be so fun to see what they do with the fabric. Each day there will be 2 friends, and on the Thursday it will be me and Wendy Shepherd. So we'll be the 2 people for wrapping it up. Also today I have got the London Town, the next block that I did with some little step outs in it. Also, if you're new to my channel, I am a lifestyle channel, a quilting lifestyle channel. So basically I sew things and talk about quilting and share things that my community has done. We do projects together. So it's a lot of fun. What I have, and those of you who haven't done it yet, is I put out a project calendar every month because there's celebration days where we share quilts based on a theme. Then I also have a second page which has a list of all of the projects that we are doing together. So that's a really helpful thing. My Facebook group, Quilt Along with Pat Sloan, is a companion to this YouTube channel where you can share your photos, because as you know, you can't share photos here at YouTube. So you know, this is the way for you to go out and share and interact, and it's a really, really lovely community. Okay. What do we got for Gratitude and Grace? We have 2 friends today. First up, let's talk about Cheryl Brickey of Meadow Designs. So Cheryl is a author and a designer extraordinaire. She has done so many cool quilts. I'm going to put up a few here while I'm talking. I have been on Cheryl's, well, Cheryl and I have been friends for a very long time. We've been co-hosts of some business groups together. She has a whole part of her website devoted to teaching you how to write quilt patterns, if that's something you're interested in, either as, you know, the links are down below, but you know, how to write a quilt pattern. You may not want to write them, but you might just be interested in the process and what all the steps are that go into it. Maybe you have to do something for your guild. Maybe you're putting together your guild's block a month or something like that, and you want to really do a nice job. Her free, you know, online workshop where she, you know, has a bunch of posts that take you through the process. You can find that over at her website. Like I said, links down below, and the links are in the description box today. And the pinned post, and at my website today, because I have an article Monday through Thursday here for the tour. She is also an author, and I have been on her tours for her books. I love that she focuses on the pre-cuts, which show you a way to really dive into those shapes and have great, extraordinary quilts that go with them. And she also has some very adorable kitty helpers that you will see on her quilts and in her posts. And so here's a sneak peek of what she did with Gratitude and Grace. So now that you have a sneak peek here, you can go over to her website, see what the full project is, learn a little bit more about Cheryl, and you know, you might even pick up her books. So just go head on over there. Thank you, Cheryl, for being part of this. Next up is Annie Unrin of By Annie. And many of you, if you've made a bag, you probably have seen, if not made, Annie's projects. She's been making these bags, designs, for quite a while now. Her website is quite extensive with instructions because she's mostly doing a video for every bag now, so that's super helpful for those of you who might be new to bag making, or if you're doing one of her bags that has more parts to it. The videos are so helpful to have you walk through that. She's also the founder of the So Pink, which runs in October. I just did that one with her this past year. I've done a couple other ones where it is all bringing awareness to breast cancer research. And so she had every day in October, somebody was doing an article, doing a project, and bringing awareness to the breast cancer research. So thank you, Annie, for putting that on every year. And I also feature Annie's bags every time I've done a fabric line with Benartex. We show you them mocked up in my fabric lines, and Gratitude and Grace is just gorgeous in her bags. And then here is her sneak peek. See, it's under the sewing machine there, getting done. So you have to go and see her post today over at her website and check out what they actually made with Gratitude and Grace. And she's also the person behind the Soft and Stable, which is that really wonderful foamy kind of interfacing, or foam, like sort of batting. You put like this Soft and Stable, which gives your bags a very professional look, a very clean, finished look. It's such a great product, and that is her product as well. So thank you, Annie and her team, for all the amazing work. And so you have to go out now and visit Cheryl and Annie today. Be sure you do what they say, probably leave a comment, or maybe fill out one of the little contest forms, whatever form people are using. Follow their instructions, and you could be in the running for a layer cake of Gratitude and Grace. So you will want to come back tomorrow, because it will be day number 2 of the tour. Okay, so this is November. We're kicking off November. It is Family Story Month, which is a fabulous topic for quilt makers. So many of us put a story into the quilts that we make. It may not be real obvious to other people, and sometimes it's very obvious what the story is. Maybe via the design, it might be image-based. But if you have a quilt that has like a family story woven into it, I would love for you to share today at Quilt Along with Pat Sloan. If for some reason you don't have the quilt to share, but you want to tell the story, go over to the Fireside Chat group, the separate group for the non-quilt picture things. So you can do that over there, or just leave the comment here at YouTube for everybody to enjoy. It is also Check Your Blood Pressure Day, and I have my yearly exam today. My yearly health exam. So I will be getting my blood pressure checked for sure, but it's something you should be doing, at least yearly, if not a little bit more than that. So there you go. You got to get that done. Okay, London Town. Oh, this is so cool. I love these blocks. I did a bunch of little, filming of making parts of it with some little suggestions and tips. So let's take a look. One of the things I like to do with these smaller pieces is be sure that I have a start-stop piece. That's what my lemon chiffon is, all of those pieces. And like right now I have these laid out so that if I need to, if I don't have pieces of the quilt, like this is the Big Ben, if I don't have pieces of that to go through, I have something like this, because these smaller pieces, it's just a higher probability it'll get like jammed up or sucked in or not on 1/4 inch. That's the other thing, just because of the way we work. And also you have to be super accurate. This is another thing where some of you are finding maybe you don't work with small pieces as much, and so your seam allowances, when they're off on a bigger piece, it's not as noticeable. When they're off on a small piece, it's very noticeable, because you go to put things together and they don't fit. So be sure that you are accurate. You're measuring. You can't just put a 1/4 inch and be done. You have to measure the unit. When you add 2 pieces, measure that to be sure that it's the size that it's supposed to be. The book doesn't give you these intermediate sizes, but you can calculate it yourself. And then that way as you're building this, that you're not introducing any errors. So I'm excited because these are both the Liberty of London Tanalon, and they just feel so amazing. Okay, so let's get Big Ben done. Alright, let me show you this. This Tanalon is very silky, so it's a little bit more tricky to work with for me to get it lined up. Okay, so you can see here, see how it, let me get up here. So see how it looks like a little bit bowed out? Let me rotate that. You can really see it. If I tried to match this side, look, you can see it actually is a little bit bowed out. And that's because this unit here, that's shorter than up here. So the seam allowances, even though when I look at them, I mean, I'm looking at them, they look pretty good on the back, but I can see this is closer than that. And I don't think I cut the piece wrong, any of the pieces wrong. I could have, but I don't think that's it. I think it's just, there's just a smidgen less as I was going through to get to the end to sew those, and so it veered out and made a little bit smaller seam allowance. So I will shore those two up, which will just pull this in. Down here, I did pretty good with that part, but they're a little long. So something else was a little off. So all I have to do is just sew one of these seams in a little bit more, and that way, you know, so these guys will match up on the end because I want those to match and those to match. So one of these two seams, I will take it in just a little bit. And this is real life. This is something that you have to work on all the time as a quilt maker, because you can never ever just set it once and you will make perfect seam allowances. It is just not the reality of things. And when you are sewing small pieces like this, you have really got to be on your A game and checking things in order for it to match. They look like they're there now. I had to do 2 tucks, one on each of the units. So down here, I did on this one, where I just went along and made it a little bit, made a second. Is that the one I had to do? Yeah, so you can see how it's another tuck on there. And then I had to do 2 on this one, just because the first time, I wasn't doing much, and the first time wasn't enough. And so I did it twice at the same spot, and now they're going to be fine. So I will be matching these intersections, and same down here, these intersections, and then getting it sewn. Here's one of the reasons to use a clapper, is that when you press it, if you have one that maybe needs to be a smidgen out somewhere, press it firm, use your wool pressing mat, take your clapper then, and leave it sit and let it cool, rather than just like press it for a few seconds. Let it cool, because that whole thing will let the fibers set to the new position that you've sort of pushed it into by getting them a little bit moist with your steam and your heat, and you know, loosening the fibers up enough so that you could kind of work it into how you want it. Ooh, nice. All right, let's put the other piece on. What I do here before I use the clapper, I've got the last piece on, is I just warm it up and then press it over, and you can go whichever way you want. I'm going to press the seam allowance towards this middle, and then I will do the press. So you kind of warm the fibers when you give it a first press, and then I will leave that sit. And I could go, you know, this one's already been done, even though it's flipping up there, down. I don't know why. There we go. So now we'll just leave that sit, and then it will cool, and we will have the unit, and the clock face goes in the middle of that. For this angle, I am going to first position that these 2 pieces where I know that 1/4 inch is going to hit where they join there. I think I need to scooch it a little bit, but I can't do that one-handed. And then I'll pin that good. You could actually use a little dab of glue if you wanted. And then I'll be coming through this intersection, which I can see on the top here, to do the seam allowance on one side. But I set this one up first. I angle this one, I position this one first, because that's the trickier one. On my baby lock, I have the guide beam, and I'm just checking where things are So that looks pretty good to me. So that's where I want to come through, and I will just hold it. I'm going to check it again because I'm doing this one-handed, but that's how I check. I pull it back and I take a look and be sure that it's lined up how I want it, and then I sew. Let's take a look at the Big Ben up close, where I have a clock face coming. Do you know that there's actually some shimmer in this fabric, in this yellow Liberty of London fabric? Look here. Look here. You probably can't tell on the camera, but this has like a little bit of shimmer in it. It is so cute. Okay, there we go. There we go. Turned out pretty good. Had a little bit of, being sure it was all accurate. And then up close for my guard. And there will be a little chin strap that's embroidered. You can see in the pattern. So I'm going to embroider the chin strap, and like our ambassador Melissa did and some other people, where they went out and did the little tassels that go by commands and buttons and other things. I think I'm probably not doing any of that, but there it is. There they are. Here they both are. Now, one of our friends in our community emailed me and said she's sending me a clock face. So she has some fabric that has a clock face that she thinks will work for this. And so I am not doing any clock face until that comes and I can see if it's going to work. Even if it's a tiny bit small, I can put it on top of something bigger to make it fill that space. But I don't know. We'll see. I'm not sure if you are actually also making this so that you know the exact size. But that's exciting. So I can't wait to see. Also, if several of you suggested I look through my Alice in Wonderland fabrics, good suggestion. And I will do that if this one doesn't work out. So we'll see. We'll see what's being sent. So excited. And I really like the little soldier. And some of you are really going to spiff yours up, or the guard. Some of you are really going to spiff up your guards. And that's super exciting. Now, we had so many wonderful photos of all kinds of things that were on topic over the last 4 or 5 days. And so I did find some of your London town blocks. So let's take a look. Jackie's 2 blocks are gorgeous. I love that light blue and white stripe on the block on the right and how it's repeated in those 2 places, and the gold on the one on the left, just wonderful. Here is Janet's. Look at that tile work fabric. Oh my goodness. That is perfect. Love it. Julie has 2 pictures here. Here is one of the Big Ben, and she started to embroider. Look at the bottom. She says she's starting to embroider what they are on there. That's a fabulous idea. And then here is the guard, and she added a little bit of detail to him as well. How awesome is that? My friend and ambassador here, Kendall, look at his. How gorgeous. Yes, he has no time at all on his. Oh my goodness, Kendall. Are you going to put anything there? Huh? Gotta tease him, right? Gotta tease your friends. And another good friend of mine, Melissa, who is also an ambassador here. And I love that sort of orange peel looking fabric. That's the lighter color, the tan. That is so cool. And then the red. That's a fabulous red fabric to use. Oh, good job. Love it. And then last, I've got one from Patty. And oh my goodness. Now, I can't remember if that clock, I'm going to give you a close-up of that clock on next. But oh my goodness, that is gorgeous. And so here is a close-up of her clock. Wow. So leave a comment. Tell us, was that a piece of fabric or did you use your embroidery machine to do it? One or the other. It's wonderful. Thank you, everybody, for sharing your London town blocks. So darling. So keep sharing them. You can share them in groups or, just as you do one. Either way, I'm grabbing them to show you all the different variations. Okay, so tomorrow, when we come back, we're going to have day 2 of the Gratitude and Grace Tour, and it's Tackle It Tuesday tomorrow. So I am going to tell you a little bit about my plot twist and how it got to that point, which is here is the plot twist pattern. And then what I'm doing with the cutaways from this, because it had some cutaways to get this particular design. Sometimes patterns are like that, and I am using them. So I'm going to show you how I'm going to use those. Head over to Cheryl's website and Annie's website so that you can get in the running for a layer cake of gratitude and grace from Benner Tex. So I love you. Mwah. Thank you for being here in the Sloan Zone. I will see you online.